The Lantern in Maple Hollow. In a quiet corner of Vermont tucked between forested hills and winding gravel roads, lay a small village called Maple Hollow. The town had no more than 300 people, 2 churches, 1 diner, a post office, and a general store run by the same family for 3 generations. Everyone knew everyone. And everyone knew about the feud between Mr. Harold Green and Tommy Benson. Harold was a retired war veteran, a quiet man with a weather-beaten face, always seen with a lantern in one hand and a black Labrador named Max by his side. He lived alone in a worn-out cottage at the edge of town, near the old covered bridge. Tommy was a teenage boy, reckless, angry, and misunderstood. After his mother passed away and his father turned to drinking, Tommy started skipping school, picking fights, and vandalizing property. The villagers kept their distance from Tommy, whispering about how he'd end up like his dad. Only the school librarian, Miss Clara, still believed there was some good in the boy. One bitter December night, something happened that would change everything. A fire broke out at the community barn. Flames lit up the sky. People rushed out of their homes in pajamas and boots, forming lines with buckets of water. That barn held not just supplies, but memories, school plays, summer fairs, wedding dances. Some said they saw Tommy running away from the scene earlier that evening. His lighter had been found near the barn. Sheriff Martin came knocking the next morning. "Tommy, we need to talk," he said gently. Tommy looked down, fist clenched. "It wasn't me," he said, but no one believed him, not even his father. Later that day, Harold Green showed up at the sheriff's office. "I saw what happened," he said. "I was walking Max near the bridge. I saw 2 older boys light something and run off. Tommy was there, but he was trying to stop them. He stomped on the flames. Everyone was stunned. Why would Harold, grumpy, reclusive Harold, speak for the town's most troubled boy?" The sheriff hesitated. "You sure about that?" "I don't say things I don't mean," Harold replied. Tommy was let go, but the suspicion in the village lingered. A week later, a snowstorm hit Maple Hollow. Power lines snapped. Roads froze. People gathered in the church for warmth and food. That night, Harold came in late, dragging a sled filled with firewood. Behind him was Tommy, carrying a box of candles and flashlights. Harold nodded. "The boy's been chopping wood with me all week. Figured it's time he met the town." Tommy didn't speak, but his actions did. Day by day, something began to shift. He started showing up at the general store, offering to stock shelves. He fixed a broken fence at Miss Clara's house. He carried groceries for old Mrs. Willoughby without being asked. The villagers noticed, but one gesture stood out. Harold gave Tommy something that no one else ever had, a sense of purpose. He taught him how to care for Max, how to patch a roof, how to fix an old engine. They laughed, argued, and worked side by side. People stopped calling Tommy that troubled boy and started calling him Harold's apprentice. One spring afternoon, the village gathered for the reopening of the rebuilt barn. Children played, a local band performed, and at sunset, Harold stood beside Tommy, lighting a lantern that would hang over the door. It was the same lantern Harold had carried every evening for years. "I'm passing this to you," he said quietly, "because light belongs in the hands of those who once walked through the dark." Tommy looked around. For the first time, he didn't feel like an outsider. He felt like part of something. That night, under the glow of the lantern, the village danced again. And from the edge of the crowd, Harold smiled, a proud, quiet smile that said everything. Moral of the story: sometimes, forgiveness is not about forgetting what someone has done, but seeing who they are trying to become. A second,